I live on Spring Street between Mott and Mulberry in a fifth-floor walk-up, 400-square-foot apartment. Okay. And I've been there for 32 years. And this is my story. The title is Bad Luck, Good Luck, and the Sisterhood. This is how it all began. I grew up in upstate New York, Syracuse, New York, in an upper-middle-class family. I had a charmed, cozy existence. My parents paid for everything. A fantastic summer camp, extra art lessons. They paid for college. I graduated in 1972 and said, Mom, Dad, I want to be an artist and I want to move to New York City. And they said, what's an artist? They said, you're on your own now. No more support. We want you to get married. We want you to have children. We want you to have, they called it a big job. So I had to strategize in my early 20s. How was I going to be an artist? How was I going to get to New York City? Am I holding this correctly? Okay. Anyway, so I strategized. Pick an inexpensive graduate program near New York and explore New York, and that's what I did. I got into Rutgers University, the MFA program. I entered in 1977. I took the New Jersey Transit bus in once a week to explore the city. Soho was relatively new, burgeoning, and wonderful. I explored. I got my MFA in 1979. The summer of 79, I was ready to pounce, ready to move in. I asked people, where should I live? Of course, the common wisdom was a single woman, unmarried at the time. Of course, I needed a doorman building. But no, of course, I knew I couldn't afford that. The advice that was given to me was, Little Italy, it's safe. There's a mafia presence. John Gotti had his social club still on Mulberry Street. And I thought, great, a safe neighborhood. And then I thought, how am I going to find this place, this inexpensive place that will let me be an artist? And I devised a new strategy. My strategy was to do an end run around the classified ads in the New York Times and The Voice. I handmade cards, index cards, and I wrote, I need an apartment, call collect, in my number, New Jersey. I was an artist, but I intuitively knew that the building owners in Little Italy would prefer a school teacher. So I dressed in a shirtwaist dress with a belt, little flats. In July, took the bus in and began the quest to find my space in New York. First day I set out. Now remember, at that time there were no bars, there were no chic galleries. Actually, there were very few businesses in Little Italy at the time. There might have been one bakery. All the businesses that are there now were storefronts where people lived. As I walked around my first day and asked people about an apartment, they said, go to Mike's hardware store on Elizabeth Street. He knows everyone in the neighborhood. So there I was, frightened, vulnerable, scared, but going forward to make my dream come true. And I walk into Mike's hardware. It's dusty, dirty. Mike's standing in the aisle, and I have my cards, and I say, Mike, I'm from New Jersey. I'm a school teacher. I'm looking for an apartment. And he unzipped his fly and exposed himself to me. I went running out as fast as I could, and my heart went thump, 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 thump. And I thought, what did I do to provoke this? Really? And I thought, they're right. My parents are right. The common wisdom, I can't move in. I'm alone. I'm vulnerable. I'm unsafe. And then I thought again, and I said, that wasn't so bad. I was... I'm safe. I wasn't hurt. Go back to New Jersey. Try again the next day. Recover. Get a good night's sleep. Call a few friends. I take the bus back. I set out the next day. Same plan, same game plan. I'm walking down Spring Street. I see a big sign, Little Italy Anti-Poverty Association. It was in a storefront. I walk in again. Dusty, cobweb, an older woman sitting at the front desk. I have my pack of cards. I present it. I'm a school teacher from New Jersey looking for an apartment, and she said, oh my gosh, there's one available upstairs. I know Mary. Mary lives in the building. She's the aunt of the building's owner. Let me call her. She gets on the phone, describes me. A couple minutes later, hangs up and says, I have some great news for you. Mary wants to rent you the apartment, but unfortunately, she's away. She won't be back till tomorrow, and I don't have a key. So you're going to have to sign the lease now and rent it sight unseen. And my heart went thump, 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 thump. This might be a scam. What do you do? Rent an apartment sight unseen in New York? It's 1979. So Mary says, no, actually, the woman at the desk said, I have an idea. I'm going to let you in the front door. It's apartment 12. Knock on the neighbors' doors and ask them about the apartment. So she let me in, and I scampered up the stairs 5 flights. I got to the top floor, apartment 15. I knock on the door. The door opens. A woman my age is at the door, Michelle. And I said, I'm thinking of renting apartment 12. I have to rent it sight unseen. What do you think? And she says, do it, do it. I run back down, sign the lease. I have my rent stabilized lease in my hand. I go back to New Jersey. She tells me the key will be there the next day. I come back. There's the key. Run up the stairs, open up the door, and my heart goes thump, thump, thump. It is truly, in my eyes, a piece of heaven at the top of the stairs. It is the most cleanest, pristine, sun-filled, cozy apartment with original trim from 100 years ago. It has 2 giant south-facing windows. I have a huge view of downtown Manhattan, including the World Trade Center. I have 2 side windows. A gentle breeze is blowing in. At that point, I might tell you, friends, that was probably the happiest moment of my life. I knew intuitively I could be an artist. I had a room of my own. As Virginia Woolf said, I could afford it. The rent was very, very cheap. And now comes the sisterhood, the best part of the story. The next day, I couldn't light my stove. Knock, knock, knock. Michelle, how do you light these stoves? Michelle comes in, helps me light the stove, and tells me there are 2 other women on the hall. We're all approximately 30 years old. Pat, Pixie, Michelle, and I live on the top floor. And this is what happens over the years. Okay, 1981. Pixie's at my door. Our furnace is on fire. Everyone evacuate. I've already called the fire department. 1985, Pat knocks on my door. There's a homeless man living in our basement. There are piles of defecation. We have to get together and do something about this. All through the 80s, Michelle knocks on my door. I'm making dinner for the floor tonight. Come for dinner. 1987, I knock on my neighbor's doors. The police are entering our storefront. At this point, our storefront is being used as an illegal gambling den and also for the storage of firecrackers. The police lead various members of the den out in handcuffs. 1989, I knock on Michelle's door. I just got dumped by my boyfriend, and it's my birthday, September 20th, 1989. And she says, we're all going to dinner in Chinatown. So Pat, Pixie, Michelle, and I celebrate my birthday in 1989 in Chinatown. (1990), I hear a huge bang. An old chimney that should have been taken down decades ago has fallen on top of the building and completely smashed and cracked our roof. And my ceiling is opening up. And the landlady asks the 4 women on the top floor to buy the tarp. Pixie runs out to buy the tarp. I weight on the tarp with 10 heavy pink teacups that I bought in a flea market. There's nothing else that I can think of. Do I have more time? I got to wrap it up. Okay, I'll wrap it up. And let me just wrap it up. And I'm going to wrap it up by saying, okay, let me just do one more. Two weeks ago, Michelle and I are still there, by the way. 2 weeks ago, Michelle knocks on my door and says, my mother just fell and broke her hip. She's going to be in a rehab center in Riverside. Could you water my plants? Thank you, everybody. Okay, sorry.